This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. The following program has been rated G and is suitable for all audiences. So, should I address you as Your Honor during this, or Mr. Mayor?
Call me John, please.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to start off with probably the most serious question that you've had asked to you in a long time, and I hate to go hardball right away.
All right.
Did you see the fight the other night?
Which fight? Are we talking about the election or are we talking about Tyson?
Well,
I did. I did not see the Tyson fight.
You did not see the Tyson fight.
I did the Trump dance. So.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yes,
that's a thing now.
It is.
That's spreading all over the NFL.
It's
apparently.
huge. It's a NFL. It was at the Tyson fight. I saw the clip from there. So
now
or the MMA fight that was on
MMA.
the yeah.
Oh! Did one of the winners?
Yeah.
Do the Trump? He was there apparently.
He was. Yeah, he showed up. So he got a running applause. So
he gets around, doesn't he?
He does a good job.
Yes,
so.
he does. Yeah, the NFL. That's apparently it's a controversy. Apparently, there's people that don't want players doing the Trump dance.
You know, we still have a split country. It's
we
coming
do.
together, I think. But I think
I hope
people are
so.
starting to talk to each other at least. They might not have the same ideas, but
That's right.
at least they're talking with each other.
As long as we're talking.
Exactly.
That's most of it right there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
You missed the fight.
I missed the fight. So
What a cluster.
I heard it was kind of boring.
It was boring, but Netflix was in and out and in and out
really?
and disconnecting
Really?
and buffering. It was terrible.
Huh.
The fight itself, I was really sad about it.
Yeah.
And then I saw some of the highlights after and some slow motion stuff. Now I think it was rigged.
Okay. I'm sure. Well, what, $20 million for Tyson and $40 million for Paul?
Word on the street is, if you follow these things, is that Paul got 40.
Right.
Now, Tyson was supposed to have gotten 20, but apparently he got 70 for throwing it.
Oh,
Who knows?
who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about John Shoop.
I'm the mayor. I'm a banker. I'm a woodworker. That's where my heart is in making projects and carvings and that stuff. But I was born in Wisconsin, Racine, Wisconsin.
Really?
Yeah, a few years ago, more than 20, so less than 100. But moved down to Florida in 1980 after I got out of school. I graduated from University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee campus and drove a U-Haul down to Florida for my uncle.
Really?
And it was in November, and it was 80 degrees all the way through Christmas. I was going back in for my master's in January in Milwaukee, and came down here. I was looking for a vacation, and drove down with my uncle, and came down here and stayed. Met my wife in Arcadia, Florida. That's where I started my banking career, and then ended up being bounced around with a big bank, Sun Bank back then, was Sun Bank, and through mergers and that stuff, and ended up with at Highlands Independent Bank. In 1990, 1990. And actually, I'm sorry, that was 99 when I ended up with Highlands Independent Bank.
Yep.
Jim Crawford was the president back then and invited me to come over, and he was retiring, and God rest his soul, he passed away 6 days before he retired.
Oh, did he really?
I was kind of sad because he was ready to get with his grandkids and do some traveling, and was all pumped up, and his body just gave out on him. But I've been in banking for this is my 44th year in banking now, so. And now we're just back to the independent bank. Got out of the big bank stuff and got back to community banking.
So you're a banker. What actually does a banker do?
We drink a lot of coffee.
Well, I mean, I'm
Turn
assuming
people down. No, not really. So, no, I mean, we help various businesses and people, if you getting into homes, getting into businesses, expanding businesses, and just all sorts of
loans
fun
and
things,
mortgages, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When I think of bankers, I immediately think of It's a Wonderful Life. I think of George Bailey and Mr. Potter.
Yep. Yeah. The other day I dropped a bank bag in the middle of the street and somebody picked it up and they called me Billy. So if you remember Billy,
Uncle Billy,
lost the cash.
Oh,
so,
yes. Yep.
But that's a classic banker there.
Oh,
George
yeah.
is a classic banker.
Yeah.
So,
Classic and classy too.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. What a good movie. Was I mean, this is a crazy question, but did that movie have any role in you being a banker? Did it have any
Not really.
influence?
Not really. So
What makes a young person decide I'm going to be a banker?
it goes back to when I was in college, and I had a cousin-in-law that was in banking, and for some reason wanted to get in banking, and ended up moving to Florida and getting into banking, and I've enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of rewards to it.
Oh, yeah.
Helping people, assisting people, not helping,
Yes.
assist them to get
Big
their
difference.
dreams and goals, and it's really kind of comforting when you can see what you've done has helped them further their careers or their lives, and that's so it's a rewarding career.
I'm quite sure you can drive around the heartland at any given time and know that I helped them, I helped them,
You can
I helped
a
them,
lot of
and
them
that's
out, so.
got to be very satisfying, but also humbling.
It is. It's very much so. But there's a few that said that one didn't work out so well. So, but all in all, it's a good career. I've enjoyed it, and especially the small town banking.
Yes.
I kind of got the big side of banking for a while, and didn't enjoy just being a shareholder, bottom line number guy.
Right.
You know, where now with your independent banks, local banks, it's more building a community, and so it's been real rewarding, and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, the community has definitely benefited from you.
Well, I
So
appreciate
thanks.
that. So
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very well known and very well respected and
Okay.
well liked and well loved in the
Well,
community.
I appreciate that.
That's-
There's a
that's the
few
truth.
people that may not say that, but
Not everybody is ever going to say
But
that about
no,
everybody. It's just how it is.
it is. It is. That's part of life. But
That's
you know,
right.
you just do the best you can, and that's the way I've always done it. And I've always seen you give what you give to your community comes back tenfold, and it has for me.
100%.
And that's just I think if we had a whole world like that, we wouldn't have the problems that we have today. It'd just be a good society, and hopefully we'll get that way.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I think there's still hope.
Yes.
I do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good people out there.
It's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to get down, but
Right.
but I do. I'm hopeful.
Right.
I'm hopeful.
too.
Zig Ziglar. I'm a big Zig Ziglar
I
fan.
like Zig Ziglar. So
As a matter of fact, I
used to
learned.
listen to a lot of Zig Ziglar tapes.
Oh, absolutely. I've transferred them all to CD.
Have you really?
Now I'm going to have to put them on a MP3 or something.
Exactly. A little thumb drive or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, he when I was 14, my brother Peter had his tapes.
Okay.
He was a salesman,
old
door-to-door
cassette tapes,
salesman.
right?
Absolutely.
That's-
See you at
that's
the
what I had.
top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I listened to those religiously over and over. And I was probably 13 or 14, and I remember, and I've never forgotten this, and this has been my life's creed. You can get anything you want out of life if you just help enough other people get what they want.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's what I see you
It's
doing.
very true. It's very true. So we've got a great community. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of people in this community that give and give and give. And,
true.
And don't ask.
that's right,
But it comes back around to you. So,
for sure.
but we've got a great community.
How much longer till you hit that retirement age
Well,
or switch?
to hit the retirement age, I'm about 3 months away.
Really?
Yes.
Are you going to?
Full Social Security.
Okay.
But I enjoy what I'm doing, and I still have some health. I can still pretty much move around. It takes me a little bit longer, but I can move around, and I enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't have a time frame to retire yet. So,
Sure.
But
Well, ride the wave
going.
while you want to.
keep going.
Absolutely.
But-
How many people do you know who have retired and then after a month or two couldn't take it and went out and found another job or
Oh, I
found
tell
something
you, there's
else?
countless people that know that. It's a nice idea to retire, and I think, what would I do for 18 hours a day?
Exactly. Well,
Every day.
maybe woodworking, unless you don't love it that much.
Well, it becomes a job. So,
Sure.
But no, I do. I really enjoy that side of it. Wood doesn't talk back to you. So that's what if I mess it up, I said I just sand a little bit more. So
There it is. Well, woodworking, and I've seen some of your stuff.
yes, sir.
I saw a thing you made for, I don't want to say names, but it was a big fish. Mm-hmm. Incredible.
They turned out pretty nice. So
I'm looking at this thing. I believe it was at the Circle Theater. I think that you were doing a silent auction or
Yes.
something.
yes,
And I'm just standing there. This is when I was working there.
okay.
And I'm looking at it. And I'm just in awe of this thing. It's like, this is unbelievable.
I do a lot of saltwater fish, and
I had no idea it was yours.
yeah,
And then I look at the name. It's like, no, you got to be kidding me.
No, I enjoy woodworking. So picked it
Impressive.
up from my dad
Really?
years ago. When I was 10 years old, he bought me my first set of gouges,
Yeah.
which I still have, and kind of did it and then gave it up for a while. And about probably 10, 12 years ago, picked it back up and just enjoy it. So
Yeah. So are you predominantly carving, or do you all do all kinds of
I
woodwork?
do predominantly carving, but I build furniture, built several big farm tables and some bed stuff and some other stuff. So, but primarily it's carving saltwater fish.
Yep.
So
Is it a commission thing, or do you just do it and then find homes for them?
I do it, and most of my stuff goes to charity. So, and I'll give it to, like you said, at the auctions and at silent auctions and that stuff. And so that's primarily where it goes. Now, when I retire, that might have to change, but but right now it's self-fulfilling.
Sure.
I just enjoy it. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to have everybody needs a creative outlet,
Yes.
whether they know it or not.
Well, look at your music.
Well, that's
the
it.
same way,
But the
yeah.
same thing, it's also a business.
Exactly.
So I can't remember the last time I just picked up a guitar and played and strummed for fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'm either practicing or
Well, it seems like every time you pick it up, you're having fun. So.
I do. I enjoy. I'm thankful because
Yeah.
I enjoy my
Yeah.
job. But
Well,
it
you're
is a
very good at
job.
it,
Well,
so,
thank
yeah,
you. Thank
definitely.
you. I've been very blessed to be able to have a career out of what I have. So I'm thankful.
Very
But it is a job.
Yeah.
The recording I enjoy.
Yeah.
I do that for fun.
Okay.
But yeah, what saddens me is the number of people who have a gift or have a talent that they may be unbelievably excellent at and never know because either they were discouraged as a young person or they just never tried.
Right. Right.
How many beautiful voices or how many great
my gosh.
artists, how many scientists,
Yeah. Definitely.
how many people could have been great public servants and never did because they just didn't know they could.
Exactly.
Boggles my mind.
There's a bunch out there, but there's many more good people that have found their talents.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for a few.
Yep.
So
Yep. This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. Do you have a medium as far as is there a certain wood that you like that's just so much
tell you,
better than others? Or?
I just cypress, good Florida cypress.
Funny you say that.
It's a soft hardwood.
Okay.
It's on the softer end, but it's got beautiful grains in it. It's easy to carve.
Yeah.
And so that's my favorite is that. And I've done some black walnut.
Where do you even get that from? You have to have it
There's-
shipped in, I'm assuming. I mean,
No, actually, there's a few sawmills. There's several sawmills around Florida that you
Really?
can pick stuff up. And there was one in Avon Park, and unfortunately, he just shut down a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, you can find them all. If people give me wood,
Yeah.
and here, if you make this for me, I'll give you this. So I said, sure. So,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
wherever I can pick it up, I'll pick it up. But there are several sawmills in Florida that you can get big slabs from. So.
Do you get the biggest slabs you can get, and then
Yes.
kind of whittle that down to?
Yes. The biggest slab I carved, I did a sailfish that was 6 feet by 4 feet.
Oh.
So and it's a black walnut,
That's cool.
and so it was that was the biggest one. But typically you'll find slabs that are 20 to 24 inches wide and from 8 feet long, and 2 to 3 inches thick. So and those are kind of the sweet spot for
Yeah.
me. So
For sure. Do you still have that the set of chisels that your
I
dad
do.
gave you?
I
Do you
do.
still use them?
still use them.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
still have the original ones.
You have to sharpen them. Are they getting shorter and shorter?
Oh,
and
they were
shorter?
short to start with. So.
Oh, was it like maybe a kid's
Yes,
set
it
or
was.
something?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
actually, they're a usable set. Oops,
Is that
we're
is
losing
that
it.
getting weird? Yeah, just there you go. That's good. That should do it.
There you go. Now it won't run from me. So
Yeah, let's hope not. Give
Yeah.
it a tug upwards a little bit. There it is. Okay. Oh, perfect.
there, but they, that's an actual set that you can use. It's an adult set. Yeah, but you can. The bigger ones are usually for turning bowls and that kind of stuff. When you have a lathe.
Yep.
But I just mine are, and I use a lot of power tools too.
Dremels and things like that. Do you do that
Dremels,
for
yeah,
the real fine
Fordhams,
stuff?
yes, yeah, and Fordhams, and use a grinder if I'm taking big pieces off. So, but
What about your
all right.
dad? What did he was a was he a woodworker
He did a lot of.
professionally?
No, he was not. He kind of dabbled in. He built furniture for the family.
Mm-hmm.
When we were younger, stuff that kind of stuff, and had a actually his tool shed was our basement in our house when we were growing
Really?
up. So he had saws and everything downstairs.
Uh-huh.
But he did that. He was a chemist actually,
No kidding.
in his part time, and then became a gentleman farmer while he
Uh-huh.
was also working. So, but I learned a lot from him. Very,
yeah.
very peaceful man. So,
Mm-hmm.
good guy.
They have brothers and sisters.
4 sisters. One
Oh,
older and 3
wow.
younger. Yep. So I was the king of the hill. And my grandmother, my father's mom lived with us, and so she took care of me. And my sisters hated it because
Mm-hmm.
she made my bed full of my clothes.
Oh, yeah.
When I come home from work, she had dinner ready for me.
Oh,
And
you're spoiled.
I was spoiled. It was fun.
I guess it was. That's cool.
yeah.
Are they all still? Do you still have them all?
Yes.
Very
I
nice.
Still have that, and my mother's our last. She's still alive, so.
Mhm.
And she's the last adult, I guess, in
Gotcha.
between my wife and I. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are 3 of them in Wisconsin and 1 in Virginia. So,
Mhm.
but
You stay in touch pretty good.
oh yeah,
That's
definitely,
nice.
definitely.
Yeah, that's
So,
wonderful.
good family.
Yeah.
Good family. So
What about your family? Tell me about your offspring.
my offspring, I got a boy that's here in the insurance business, doing very well, and then my daughter's up in Brunswick, Georgia. She's a teacher, and she's doing very well. So
I know your
real
daughter.
Proud of them.
I know JC. I don't,
You probably know Hannah.
oh
You've
yeah, of
probably
course
seen
I
the
do.
You
Oh
know
my
Hannah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, so-
Yes.
Yeah, she's up in Brunswick. She's up there teaching high school.
Mhm.
AP classes. She's teaching
No
economics.
kidding.
AP economics.
AP
and
economics.
She got that job, and I said, Hannah, you didn't even know how to balance a checkbook. You didn't even know how to make a deposit. She said, well, you did it all in banking. You never taught me how. So, but she's done very well. So
That's great.
she YouTubed a lot of stuff to learn,
Mm-hmm.
but she's done good. And she has 2 girls,
Yep.
3 and 1.
Yep.
And then my son has 3 kids now.
Fantastic.
7, 4, and 5 months. So 4 girls and 1 boy, kind of
Yeah.
like the family.
That's cool.
But they're all doing well. I'm very proud of my kids.
Oh, you should be.
They've done good. They're good family. Spend a lot of time with their families. So
Mm-hmm.
so very proud of them. So
JC does a ton of great stuff with firemen and everything else.
does a
He's
lot of
a
volunteering.
Good guy.
I keep
He's a
telling him, I
good
said, you
guy.
got to learn how to say no sometimes, and he won't do that. So
Yeah.
and I said, eventually you'll fill that bucket up. But I don't. He enjoys it.
Yeah.
He enjoys.
You
it.
can tell.
Yeah.
He's always fun to work with.
He does a good job.
Yeah.
So he does a good job. So but very proud of him.
Yes.
So we're in. His wife, she's a teacher,
Mhm.
and she's doing very well. So
Outstanding.
And, my daughter's husband runs a John Deere dealership up in Brunswick.
Do you get a family discount on John Deere?
I've been trying to get one, but a harvester I can't afford.
Oh yeah. And Jan, she's still on the school board?
No, yesterday was her last day.
Okay.
Midnight, she was retired.
Yes.
So she was on for 12 years, and her big thing when she went on, she said she's just going to run for 2 terms.
2 terms.
And the first term, she said, was just a blur. She
Yeah.
said it took her that long to really learn the ins and outs of what's going on. So she ran for her 3rd term and made it. And then she wants to spend time with the grandkids.
Absolutely.
More time going to Brunswick, Georgia, and the kids here. And so last night, midnight was her final hour. So
I didn't know when that transition was.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was January or what. So it's already happened.
it's already happened. Yeah, Mason Whidden, who won this district, he gets sworn in tonight.
Gotcha.
At the meeting. So, but she did a good job. She worked hard at it. She made it a job.
Yes.
I mean, she spent a lot of time in the schools
Mm-hmm.
and took it to heart. So
12 years
proud
is
of
a
what she
long
did.
time.
It's a long time to do that. Yeah,
I mean,
get
that's
beat up by people.
well, mercilessly a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so many people that beat up on elected officials really don't even know what they're talking about most
No,
of the time
they don't,
because
so.
they can't possibly
Right.
have access to the information,
Right.
and they don't have the wherewithal, and yet they still
And a
do
lot-
it.
And a lot of times, especially with the school board, a lot of that is state mandated.
Exactly.
So they have to work within state guidelines.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't understand that. They think, you're in charge of everything, and the state says no.
No,
We are.
not at all.
Yeah, but
So what when you guys are having dinner around the table and you see the new administration coming in and there's talk about dismantling the education system on the federal level and throwing it back to the states. What do you have any thoughts about
She
this? She have
actually,
thoughts?
she likes that idea.
I kind of do too.
She said there's more control.
Yep.
I said, it comes back to the state, and, states are different.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're not just a cookie cutter thing. So she thinks
Yes.
there's going to be more control, better education, more responsibility
Mm-hmm.
if it's by state. So
Yep. I tend to agree with that. I tend to agree with that really on all levels.
I think so too. I think, you get to the level when you get that high, it's a broad brush. You're just it's the whole country, and it's everybody's the same way, and you have no input.
That's right.
And you really can't do anything because you've got somebody sitting up there that think this is the right thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
and probably may not even be educated
Right.
in education
Yes.
or whatever you're looking at. But
Yeah.
but I think I agree with you on that. That the federal level, I think a lot of it should be local or state. So
We're going to be in for a whole lot of changes, I think, in the next several
we're
years.
going to see.
This whole team that Trump has with Elon Musk and RFK and
Oh my gosh.
oh my goodness, there's a
They don't have a lot of lifetime politicians.
they
in there.
don't.
You kind of, I was looking at that and seeing what they have, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see the fresh thoughts and faces that
Yes.
come into play, and see if it turns around, what happens and that stuff. And can't be any worse than where it's at right now.
Sure.
We just got to move forward.
That's right.
Some groundwork was laid in that, but I think it's going to be really interesting to see the different thought process.
Yes.
The procedures, the policies that come
Mhm.
out, and I think everybody wants to work for the best of the country. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I hope so. And I think they are. I think their hearts are in the right place. I don't know. You know what? I also think that the other administration had their hearts in the right
I
place.
think so too.
I
I'm
really
not-
do.
you know,
I don't think that anybody that has been elected has set out to
Correct.
destroy America.
I don't either.
Just because we disagree on certain things, whether it's one party or the other.
Right. And I think our biggest problem is we came so party line. You had a hard and
Yeah.
fast Republican, you had a hard and fast Democrat.
Yes.
So, both sides had different ideas,
Mm-hmm.
but when you had stuck with one side, and you're stuck, and you have to promote your party. But now
Mm-hmm.
you're seeing that wall kind of coming down. Some of the comments that you've seen some of the Democrats make and some of the
Mm-hmm.
Republicans make, that are coming in, and it seems like everybody's kind of working towards the same. Most people are working the same way, and I really think that you get, the younger people coming in and get the old guard out.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're going to see a lot more unity in the country.
Yes,
So,
I agree.
everybody's got ideas, and you may be Republican or you may be Democrat, but you got to listen.
100%.
Got to listen. So
This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. This new Department of Governmental Efficiency.
Doge.
DOGE, yeah, that's ironic, isn't it?
that's going to be Sounds like it's going to be a bit.
Oh, yeah, right.
It should be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of pet projects you're seeing that are coming out now that they study how chickens are affected by cold weather. It's like we just spent $20 million on that or
Yeah.
something like that. It's like, wait a minute, how did this stuff get through?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think the focus would allow to bring it back to our country to take care of the people that are here.
Absolutely.
I think that's going to be
We have to.
yeah,
We have to. We have to.
right.
It's not even an option.
Exactly.
We're hurting in a whole lot of areas.
Yep.
We really need. It's the old analogy of when you're going down on the plane, you got to put your own mask on before you can help anybody
Exactly.
else.
Yeah,
And we're at that point.
we are
And we're beyond that point.
definitely so.
And I'm all about helping out others in need.
Right.
But you can't do that if you're on your deathbed, and we're not on our deathbed, but we're hurting.
No, I think, and it's just coming together.
Yeah. I think it will. I think it'll
I
continue
think so.
to.
I think so too.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, definitely.
What about locally? Now, this is your tell the audience here. How many years have you been our illustrious mayor?
I've been finishing up my 11th year. I come up for re-election in 26.
And you're going to go
12
for it?
years. Haven't decided yet, so I enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
been good. There's been some challenges and that stuff, and there still is, but overall, it's been pretty enjoyable. Like I said, we got a great community.
Yes.
You got some naysayers out there, but it's like whatever.
You're always going to.
Just move on. I do what I think is best for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Or feel best for everybody. And but I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've had a good time with it. So
You're certainly leaving your mark in the same way that Mayor Hensley left his mark.
yeah, definitely, he was a good mayor.
He really was. Now, do you remember how long he was in
He was
office?
15 years. And Smith Rudisil before him, he's a great guy too. And when I first came to town, Smith was a mayor, and but he was a good guy. He was in for 24 years.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine that span of years and having only 3 mayors?
Exactly, over 50 years.
That's
51 years.
That's very impressive.
Yeah,
Very, very impressive.
and we're still moving forward. So.
Yes, yes, we are.
Yeah.
And very, very
George was a
positive
good.
way.
George was actually the guy that when he was running, going to run, he came in. I just moved to Highlands Independent Bank, and my kids were just 3 and 4, and he came in, and Smith retired, and he says, "You need to run." And I said, "George," I said, I can't. I just took over a new bank. I said, my kids are small. I just don't have the time. And he said, "I'll tell you what. We had a gadfly that was running. He said, we need somebody to bump him out of the way." And he said, "I'll run, and when I'm done, you're going to run." Well, 11 years ago in October, I got this phone call from Hensley. He said, "I'm done, you're it." So,
That's awesome.
and I thought, oh, okay, well, we'll see what we can do. So,
The
but
gadfly. Is there any way the initials would have been PC?
it's probably yes, most definitely.
Oh,
it was.
yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There have been some really colorful folks on the council
Yes.
over the years.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember. Well, I'm sure you remember Pauline White.
Oh, I remember Pauline.
Pauline White was a neat lady.
She was.
She got into
was special.
She was something. She got into a tussle with my sister
Oh, really?
over the dog, this little tiny dog not being on a leash at the city pier. And you knew my sister Shirley.
Yes. Yes.
My sister is not one to cross.
Right.
She's the most sweet,
Right.
sweet, loving woman. But if you piss her off, and then if you get my mom on it too.
Oh,
So there was a whole thing with
really.
letters to the editor and newspaper articles about, this whole thing with the dogs and stuff. My sister even had these shirts made.
Did she really?
Beware the Great White Attack. With the city pier on it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pauline was a character.
She was all right. She
Yeah.
was special.
Yes, she
had
was.
She had her quirks, but I think it's what everybody has.
She loved Sebring.
She did.
And she wanted what
She
was
did.
best for Sebring. And again, her heart was in the right place.
Exactly.
Even though, her and my sister went at it and her and my mom went at it, I still had respect for her, for holding her
She
ground.
did love Sebring, so but there's been several of those.
Oh, yes, and there will be others.
There will
be more.
That's the election process,
Yep. That Havery character that you have on now.
He's, something else. When he grows up, he's going to be a good councilman. So
He said the same thing, though,
right.
what that Jan said about it. The first 2 years was a blur.
yeah,
He said because I asked him about if he wanted to go into re-election again, and he doesn't. He's leaning towards it maybe.
Yeah.
But he said it's going to take my whole first term to understand everything
Definitely.
that goes on and how the works and the processes and
everything fits together.
intricacies and
It is.
yeah. This you don't just get elected and know how to do things overnight.
Definitely,
you just
don't. No, it's a big business.
Yeah.
And thank God we have your son. We got Josh. We got Roland. We got some young people that have stepped up to the plate.
Yes, they
and
have.
really, the thought process is kind of neat. To where they're coming from and the views that they have, and just to add a little bit different flavor to it.
That's right.
And what I like about the council is that there's a thought to it.
Yes.
Everybody's got their own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Some we like, some we don't. But that's why you have a board.
Exactly.
If everybody was lockstep, it wouldn't be, you wouldn't have what we have. So, but Harrison's doing a good job.
I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
I'm immensely proud.
He's a good kid.
Yes,
I
he
hate
is.
to call him a kid.
Well, no, but he's, he is. Especially, I'm pretty close to your age, so yeah, he is. He's still a kid.
Yeah.
But boy, am I proud of him.
Yeah.
He's
He steps up.
he's
Well, he's doing a lot of work too with Touchdown Club and the
Yeah.
firemen and
Oh
all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. He's involved in the community, and
He
it's
l-
really neat to see that group coming
yes.
in
Yeah.
and pushing the old folks out.
Yeah. He loves his home.
Yeah,
And
and you can tell.
yes, and my
You can tell.
my son Rodney,
Yeah,
and his wife Sophia and the kids, they love Sebring.
yeah,
This is their home.
yeah.
And it was so cool that Rodney and him and Sophia moved out to Oregon, and
Yes.
they were there for a while. They were there for a couple of years, and when they said they were moving back home,
Oh, how special!
it was
How
unbelievable. It was
special.
just
That's why I'm trying to get my
fantastic.
daughter to move this way, but
Me too. I don't think Katie will be listening to
Yes,
this, but she's in Montana, and I would love.
oh
But
yeah,
they're settled in. They're not coming
yeah,
back. But
yeah.
yeah, Sebring's a special place.
It is. It's good. The people are good here.
Yeah.
That's what's so nice about it. And you know people,
Mm-hmm.
which is good. And man, that's kind of when my kids were growing up. I said just be careful because they like to put the Shoop name on the front page of the paper. So
That's right. And it is a small town.
it is a small town.
Yeah, and word does get out about stuff.
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah, but your kids probably the same kind of thing. They couldn't get away with anything,
No.
and my kids couldn't get
Same
away
way.
with anything.
everybody knew them. So.
That's right. Yeah, and I,
Which
you
is
know what?
good.
I made the most of that too.
Yeah.
I always told those
I
my
al-
kids,
yes.
Listen, people are watching you,
Right.
and I know everybody in this town. They're going to tell me if you guys mess up.
Exactly.
So they always
I
had
did
that.
the same thing.
Hey, you use the tools you got.
That's it.
That was
So,
a good tool.
yeah.
And you know what? Didn't our kids turn out great?
They did. Very proud of them.
Yep.
All of them. So
Yes.
they got a good group. So
So what about I know you have a meeting tonight. I don't want to keep you much longer. How this might be a hard question to answer because you are the mayor and you have
Okay.
to be positive and everything. How do you feel about everything that happened with HGTV and they're gone now? Are you still happy with the way things are looking? Are you still happy with the progress? What are your thoughts about all that?
we're kind of in the midst of trying to keep it going.
Yes.
We've got a small committee put together that's doing a lot of the background work, getting materials put together, trying to figure out how we keep it as beautiful as what it is. Actually had another meeting today about the circle, and some of the plants are we knew they were going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin's Nursery helped out with that, and they said you're gonna be replacing these quite often. So today was a good meeting that we had and how we get stuff going, and I'm very pleased with the HGTV. They did a good job, very professional. The staff that came and the executive producer and everybody that was here was very, very accommodating. They come in when they first came in, it was like, what the heck's going to happen?
Yeah.
You read the contract and you sign it and they own the city.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And they come in and this is what we want to do. Well, there's a lot of things that they wanted to do that we didn't think represented the city like that. And they were accommodating, said, okay, let's change it.
Yeah.
What do you want to see? So it wasn't just what I feared was it was going to be Hollywood coming to Sebring. And we're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to change this, and you can't tell us what to do. And that's how we felt initially under the contract. But when the staff came and the producers and that stuff, they were very accommodating, very professional, very kind and helpful too. So and hopefully we'll see this air here in the first quarter, end of the first quarters, beginning of the
Okay.
second quarters. Initially, what they said, but they also said we can change our mind and
Yes.
come anytime. So
Yes.
we're going to be prepared. It'll be sometime next year,
Okay.
and early next year is what we think. So we are going to be prepared this year for everything that we need to do. Had a great talk with Shelley Phelps from Wetumpka.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
First, and she was kind of spearheaded that, and actually went to view Wetumpka, and much smaller town. Well, I shouldn't say much, but about half the size of what Sebring is, and that was done in 2019, 2020, and they still feel the ramifications from what HGTV.
Really?
She said you still get day trippers, and Shelley came here and helped us out a lot, and was very excited about Sebring. She said you guys are going to explode from a visitor standpoint. People taking day trips, and so just be ready. And I said, well, it's a good thing. So
Are we ready?
we're getting there.
Okay.
We're ready if they come
Yes.
right now, but we're not all the way ready.
Yeah.
If you can understand what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
and so it's going to be interesting to see it, on TV.
Yeah.
So
Where do you see Sebring in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Where?
I think the unfortunate side is we're going to grow, which is
Yeah.
not unfortunate. But if we can handle the growth where we don't outstrip our infrastructure, that's what I think. I think Florida's going to continue to grow. We're very fortunate. A lot of people are moving here from the coastal communities, especially after these hurricanes, the damage they did, which was
Yes.
just horrible.
Unbelievable.
And, you look on the coast and the sand that's been washed up and wiped out businesses, wiped out homes. And, we actually have seen several people from our coastal communities, both sides, that are relocating to Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Highlands County, the whole Highlands County is just a little slice of heaven. And people really enjoy the kind of laid back. And we said, you're welcome to come. Just don't bring some of the stuff that's over there over here.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But the biggest fear is that, the roadway system, how's it going to handle it? We don't have a lot of space like on 27.
That's right.
Do you find another alternate route, kind of a bypass that takes the traffic off but leaves the local businesses, local processes open? I see our downtown really changing.
Yeah.
For the good.
Me too.
For the good. And there's a lot of interest in it. There's a lot of people that are here. CRA's done a wonderful job with the program that
Yes,
they've
they
had
have.
and with the buildings and that stuff and getting businesses, sustaining businesses downtown. And I see that continuing on.
Yeah.
Our biggest concern is parking.
That's a huge concern.
It's going to be about parking. So there's a few things that we're looking at, down the road and trying to prepare for the future, not just looking at today. Sometimes you get these little rose-colored glasses on and say, well, boy, we're a sweet community.
Yeah.
And you forget to say it's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
Growth is going to come no matter what, And how do we prepare for the future? How do we have the resources that we have to get, someday there's going to be a parking garage downtown.
There's going to have to be.
It's going to have to be. Because right now, with the businesses, if we get the businesses open that are opening, we've already got a problem.
Yep.
Or, the parking places, people hate to walk too.
Well, yeah.
We're going to make it walkability more. So, I mean, there's just stuff that we're trying to expand way out into the future to say, okay, let's make sure we have property. Let's make sure we've got, good common sense infrastructure and look at what we have. So, because it's going to come no matter what. We just have to be able to control it so we don't outstrip ourselves.
Right.
And, I was referenced, somebody says, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, go to Brandon. When I first moved to Florida, Brandon, you had basically a 2-lane road going through Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because of Tampa and the growth out there, you got an 8-lane highway. It's all concrete.
That's right.
And that's something that, it just all of a sudden it took off and it went fast. And
It went faster than they could manage it.
Exactly. And so that's how we have to look to the future and keep it growing that way. So
Because it is coming. We know it's
it will.
coming.
It's going to come. So.
It's working its way down. Even just getting up to I-4.
Right. Oh yeah.
Oh,
my gosh, that's horrible.
It's terrible. Used to take about 50 minutes.
Right.
Then it took about an hour. And now it's, you've got to plan an hour and 20 minutes just to get to
Just
I-4.
to get to I-4.
And
then
sometimes
you stop.
worse.
And then you stop.
I-4 is the biggest disaster.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So.
How come you haven't done anything about I-4 yet, John? People want to know.
That's question is about some of the county roads that they want the city to take care of. So,
Yeah.
so no, my boundaries are here.
Yes.
And I give him a county commissioner,
Yes.
Scott Kerouac. Call
Scott
him.
Kerouac. Yep.
Call Scott.
You want to
So
give out his phone
he'll help
number?
you out. I'll do that. So his personal phone number. So.
Do it. I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's not like there's going to be a billion people watching this podcast.
So,
We both know
you
that.
never know. I'll tell you.
Well,
Look at Joe Rogan. So,
Yeah, well, Joe Rogan had a pretty good start before he opened up his
well,
podcast.
he had Trump and you have Shoop. So,
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's got to be about the same, I would think.
How
so.
can I lose? On that note,
Yes.
thank you very, very
Well,
much.
thank you very much,
You are
Harry. I appreciate it.
official second guest.
All right. Well, I feel honored. So
Well, I'm
thank you
very
much.
happy to have. Guess who I have tomorrow?
Uh-oh.
It should be colorful.
Who's that?
Greg Griffin is coming in
Oh,
tomorrow.
that'll be a good one.
That'll be an
That'll be
interesting
fun.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be
Yep.
very
There's
technical.
no telling what direction
You're not kidding.
Greg will be going in, so we'll see what happens.
He's done a great job for the city.
He really has. And
From the building department, and not to extend this interview at all or the podcast, but he cares for the people and tries to work. Now he's got codes he has to work under, so that makes it somewhat difficult. But he tries to find a way to do it the right way,
yes.
So I mean, he's done well in that position.
Yeah.
Very very people oriented, community oriented. But the problem is he still has to follow codes.
That's right.
And but he works with it. So, but well, good luck with him anyway. So
Yeah, I'll take it.
ask him about Illinois pondweed. So
Illinois pondweed. All right, I will ask him about that.
All right.
I'm going to have to remind myself.
there you go.
Always a pleasure. I'll see you at the meeting tonight.
Okay. All right.
Thanks again.
Good deal. Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
All right. You too.
The Havery Show has been brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020.
Glory to the name